New at 4, the Dane County Medical Examiner's Office has identified the victim of a crash Monday afternoon as David Esser. The medical examiner says 52-year-old Esser was killed early Monday afternoon in a rollover crash in the village of Dane that led to the arrest of another driver. Esser died as a result of the three-vehicle crash, which caused his SUV to roll over. The driver of the truck who caused the crash allegedly has been booked into the Dane County Jail and faces 1 count of homicide by negligent use of a motor vehicle.